The terms Old World and New World used to be very confusing to me when I knew little about wine, and they sounded really cool, I just never quite knew exactly what they meant. In reality, those two terms are actually very simple. Both are used in the context of wine, and they are used to differentiate the two main wine regions of wine production and also wine styles as well. So when we talk about the continental Europe, Western Europe to be exact, we refer to it in the wine industry as the Old World. And when we talk about the Americas, New Zealand, Australia, we refer to them as the New World. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my wine diary. If you are my returning subscriber, thank you so much for watching yet another video of mine. And if you're new to this channel and you like wine, then you're at the right place. So please subscribe. This is what this channel is all about. Clearly, I have just told you guys what the terms Old World and New World actually meant. What else are we to talk about in this video? Well, there are some key characteristics that distinguish the two, and that's what I really want to dive into. So I have 5 of those to give you. Let's go ahead and jump right in. The first and foremost key characteristic behind the Old World and the New World is the geographic origin, of course. With the term Old World, we talk about countries inside of the continental Europe here, and those are very traditional wine producing regions like France, Spain, Italy, Germany, Portugal, and all of those countries have centuries-long traditions when it comes to winemaking. And then the New World, on the other hand, are countries outside of the continental Europe, the Americas, Chile, Argentina, New Zealand, Australia. Those are newer to winemaking, and a lot of times they are affected by more modern winemaking processes as well. Number 2 is history and tradition of winemaking in these two. The Old World winemaking regions have a very, very long history of winemaking, often dating back hundreds, if not thousands of years. So everything from the styles of wines to practices in the vineyards, all of it is very well established already. Whereas in the New World, things are much newer, right? So here, those countries allow themselves to experiment a little bit more, and that can be seen in the styles of wines and the varietals that they mix as well as some practices in the winemaking process as well. The next is terroir versus innovation, and the Old World winemakers really emphasize the concept of terroir because they want for wine lovers to get the sense of the place where the wine comes from. So the unique characteristics of the climate of the region, the soil, even the culture of the place where the wine is made, all of that contributes to the unique character of that wine that you're consuming. Whereas the New World really focuses on innovative techniques, right? They use a lot of modern day technologies. They are experimental. They blend a lot too, which is not that common with the Old World. So think about innovation versus terroir when you think about New World and the Old World. Then there is labeling and regulations. And in the Old World wines, labeling regulations are much stricter. So they indicate the region of origin. They indicate the specific vineyards where the grapes come from, as well as the actual grape varieties used as well. So terms like AOC in France or DOC or DOCG in Italy are great examples of such labeling regulations. Whereas in the New World wines, there's much more flexibility in labeling and what is actually put on the wine bottle's label, which in a sense makes it a little bit easier for the consumer to understand where the wine comes from and what went into making it. So, pros and cons. Last but not least are wine styles, and the Old World wines definitely exhibit more subtle and restrained flavors with a focus on complexity and balance. This is where we see more of the natural qualities being emphasized, natural quality of the grapes, that terroir that we talked about just a second ago. Whereas the New World wines really emphasize experimenting. They emphasize bold wines and ripe grapes, so all those bold flavors, a lot of blends, interesting aging techniques. So it's a true experiment with the New World. There's no certain set of rules when it comes to New World wines, and they're fun. They're definitely fun. Another thing that comes to mind with the New World wines is the use of oak and aging of those wines specifically. So the influence of the oak usage is way more prominent in the New World wines versus the ones of the Old World. And here you have it, guys. So these are the 5 main differences and characteristics of the Old World wines versus the New World wines. Now, mind you that winemakers all over the world kind of take from each other here and there. So as the winemaking world in general evolves, so do the techniques that winemakers use as well. So just remember, everything that I just said is just kind of like the main characteristics of the two. It doesn't mean that some winemakers from the Old World don't experiment with new techniques and innovation. And, you know, it also doesn't mean that the New World winemakers don't follow a set of rules of some sort that they truly believe is best for their vineyard. So this is why drinking wine is so interesting. Please, in the comments below, let me know if you prefer the New World wines or the Old World wines, and if so, which ones, which regions are your favorite and which wines are your favorite. And if you like this video, please make sure to subscribe and give it a like. And until next time, cheers everyone.